Well, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Well, for me, I guess from my perspective, I think if we wear our trustee hat, I mean, we are, the LACCD is the largest community college district in the nation. We cover 891 square miles. So for us, we run at large. So as Mona says, our costs are tremendous. And I think it's time that we need to start looking at, you know, being more responsible, what kind of impact and influence we can have to do things differently for our district. And I think this is a prime opportunity for us to really be active. And I really do have to thank Mona, because I think she's one of the ones who kind of brought this forward to our board. And we did take a position and voted on this back in 2007. So I think, you know, we really have been very, very active in trying to work with people, individuals, to really see that it's time that we do things differently. And for, you know, we talked a little bit about my being on the district. One of the things that we really have been trying to do as the board is really be more responsible with our environment. And this really has a huge impact on our environment. Just as we said, I think the last time they had 20 million pieces of paper that went out to 1.5 million voters and 1,599 voting places. You can imagine the amount of paper that it took and how many trees were killed to do this. And so for us, I really want to look at it a little differently, that yes, it's going to save us dollars, it's going to create people to run for politics in a little different way, but it's also going to have a huge impact in reducing waste on our environment. But for me, I think the other thing is, most importantly, is, you know, how can we reduce voter apathy? And I think this is one way to do it. How can we energize our citizens? And I think we need to begin to look at things differently, that we can't do it in the same traditional way that we've been raised to doing it. And as we said, change is hard, but it's also exciting. And I think for us to be able to be part of this change is exciting. And, you know, there is voter fatigue, not just from, you know, the business community, but even our friends in labor and everybody. I mean, you're just inundated constantly. And as a candidate, I mean, you're constantly, you know, out there begging for dollars, doing all these things that if we go into instant runoff, I mean, the world will change somewhat. And I think it's only for the better. And for me, I guess I have to think a little bit. Recently, I kind of live in two different worlds. One of them is because we have 9 colleges, I have the great opportunity of working with so many young people that are going to school and listening and going through all the colleges and talking with them. And they're always talking about why, you know, we talk about the voter runoff. It's like, it's time you do things differently. This is, you know, computer generation, a new kind of era. And the reality is we can lament, you know, attention deficit that all these kids have. But the fact is, the reality is if we can get them to the table to come and to vote one time, and it's all it's going to take, it's going to increase the participation. But on the other end, I have aging parents, and my deal with a lot of senior citizens, you know, much more senior than myself, who also now talk about, you know, why can't you just damn do this one time and just do it all so we don't have to keep going back and forth, because, you know, sometimes we forget we're old. And they make me laugh, but the fact that this is a different population, you know, we have the young population who's ready for change because they're tired of the old ways, but then we have the population who's slowing down and who has different kind of health issues, and they would be more able to have a voice in our government if we go to this kind of new policy and new voting method. So I think, you know, there's so many great benefits to this that I think we owe it to ourselves to really think about making the change and making it soon. Thank you.